Her name is Barbara Rez. She started working for Donald Trump in the 1980s. She was an executive vice president at the Trump Organization. She's the author of All Alone on the 68th Floor, How One Woman Changed the Face of Construction. Barbara, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I did not know that you would say yes when I asked you to, but thank you.
It's an honor.
The reason I wanted you to come in tonight is because I don't think very much about the president's brain and his personality and his biography and all these things. I've got other stuff to worry about. But I am also starting to think, in terms of what's going to happen at this big moment in our country, I'm starting to think about what we should expect from him. I don't know that he's ever had kind of an accountability moment like this before in his business life. If he's ever gotten in trouble before?
You know, he has, but not anything of this nature. I mean, this is enormous. This is enormous. And he is taking this extremely seriously.
When you say he has sort of gotten in trouble before, but nothing of this magnitude.
You know, yeah, he'll lose a little thing, or he'll have deal with bankruptcy, or something will happen with a building, and he always is able to shuffle it off to someone else, and walk away from it unscathed.
Is that kind of his MO, to try to find somebody else to...
Oh, 100%. It's never, ever him.
And what do you mean? In terms of just blaming them, or in terms of making somebody actually face the consequences for him, or...?
Yeah, if he can, absolutely. But certainly blaming them and, looking for someone who made this happen in the impeachment. In my mind, he's going around saying, well, it shouldn't have happened, and you let it happen, whoever he's talking to, and you didn't do your job, and screaming. And I think he's probably really out there.
In terms of dealing with his own people, his own staff?
Yes.
We did just get a report tonight that the chief of staff the White House chief of staff is gone, that he's already been sidelined. He was described in Politico.com tonight as sort of being like at the kids' table, like he's allowed to be seen but not speak, and that he'll be gone in January. So that sounds like that's in keeping with what you're expecting. Yes,
because, even in a person of a high stature, if Trump needs to have that person be responsible for something that he did, he'll diminish that person. So that's, that kind of thing. So they're no longer... I mean, you saw that with Kelly, in my mind.
With John Kelly, the previous chief of staff. Were you ever in a business situation where there was some negative consequence for him, for his business, and he blamed you?
Yes. The very last thing that I had to do with him, the very last day I worked for him, we were working in this big project, very complicated in California, but a decision had to be made, and I told him not to do something. I didn't tell him not, I advised not, and he didn't listen to my advice, and it was a very, very bad decision.
What kind of decision was it?
It had to do with approaching somebody that we were at war with, and letting them know, basically, how desperate we were to make a deal. And not a good decision. Not something you would think he would allow to happen. But at any rate, we had a big meeting with his partners and stuff, and he blamed me for everything. So it was fine. I quit.
That was the end.
That was the last time, That was the last day I worked with him.
One of the things that I have been wondering about and kind of expecting is that I feel like the way he's dealt with things not cutting his way as president is that he's created competing crises, like something's going bad, so I'm going to do something really outrageous that everybody feels obliged to respond to because it's outrageous, and that'll be the new thing to keep the news cycle moving, to put this thing behind us.
Yes, and I've seen him do that kind of thing. It's hard to remember specifically what, but he does absolutely, if he's looking bad in some way or another, all of a sudden he's the greatest thing since, whatever sliced bread. And look at what I've done here, and take the pressure and the picture off what he had done wrong. Sure, he did that all the time.
Is there anything that you would say to people who have never dealt with him personally, but the country is all sort of dealing with him personally right now, in terms of either what to expect or how to sort of mitigate any negative consequences in terms of how he might act out in response?
The days for mitigation seem to be gone, but I will say that he will, once he gets through this, and he probably will, he will exact revenge on a lot of people,
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.